Hey, I'm BT with Tales from a Gemini. My guest today is Dave Hopkinson. He's the chief mechanic for Kyle Wyman in the King of the Baggers series. And you want somebody who's passionate about their job, passionate about racing, is Dave Hopkinson. This guy said everything from the TT to the British Superbike Series and now King of the Bagger Series, who he had disparaging words to say in the very beginning, but now he's a believer in the series and he's a believer in his rider, and I really think they're going to win the championship this year. I'll let him do the talking, but here's a man I don't think anybody's more passionate about their job than Dave Hopkinson. Please enjoy this episode. Oh, you got the time there, Wyatt? You got the timing thing? Yeah, you know the timing thing? Okay, just to make sure you knew. Okay, here we go. All right, folks. Part 2 with one of my favorite chief mechanics in the whole world. Welcome to Tales from a Gemini. I have not only a friend, not only one of the greatest mechanics in the world, but I have Dave Hopkinson. He's the chief mechanic for Kyle Wyman in the King of the Bagger series. And we're going to talk about what his original thoughts were on the Bagger series. And I don't think I don't forget that conversation we had about 3 years ago in a restaurant about the King of the Bagger. And now look at you. But first, I want to say I'm so sorry about Saquon Barkley leaving your New York Giants.
Oh, dude, don't even get me started.
I know, man. I'm so sorry. But when I saw that, I go, oh, somebody's going to shit a brick.
We've opened the floodgates and they're all leaving. It's like, it's not good.
Well, now, are you guys even going to be at competition for Dallas now? I mean, are you going to be the doormats of the division?
Let's not go too far. I tell you what, though, he could have gone somewhere better other than Philadelphia. I could live with it anywhere else other than going to Philadelphia.
That is a slap in the face right there, bro.
Yeah.
That's like like your best friend your girlfriend breaking up with you, and she goes up with your best friend, and y'all still like double date. Like, oh, really? That's what that's like.
Not good.
Yeah. So and no offense, but your quarterback kind of sucks too, doesn't he?
Oh, jeez.
Doesn't he?
Just it ain't good.
Your first and your second string.
We've had to get rid of Saquon because we've no money left.
Well, who's getting the money?
Yeah, he is. Jones, $140 million they signed him for.
But your second string quarterback, didn't he stay with his mama and his mom? Like, seriously, he stayed with his mama, right?
Yeah. To be fair to him, Kyle took me to the Green Bay game at MetLife at the end of last year, and he played, and we beat Green Bay. So I'll give him that. I'll give him that much.
Hey, as we say, there's an old saying in America that goes, even the sun shines on a dog's ass at least once.
Yeah, so, and that's exactly what it did. My ass.
How did you become a Giant fan anyway?
It was the first Super Bowl, one of the first Super Bowls they showed in the UK.
Yeah.
Back in, it was early January 87, I think it was. And they just started showing it on Channel 4 in the UK late at nights. And I was always a rugby fan. So I was like, well, this stuff's pretty cool. So I started watching. It was like 8 years old or whatever I was. And the first one was the Giants. We played Denver and beat them, and it was great. And I've been a Giants fan ever since. I was looking at some photos the other day, actually back in England, and there's a picture of like my brother, me, and my friend Ross, and we've all got the only football jerseys we could find. I had an Eric Dickerson Rams jersey on. And my brother had a Walter Payton jersey on, and my friend Ross had the LT jersey on that I really wanted. But yeah, we just went with what we could get back then. You never saw them back then, and then now it's like huge. I've been to the London games, and you've got 90,000 people going crazy in every jersey you can see. It's pretty cool now. So,
are you a sellout all the way now? Are you like American football, or are you a footballer?
No, I'm definitely. I just call it football now.
Really?
I kind of, I think I've been assimilated, if I say American football, I just sound like a foreigner, at worst with the accent as well.
Well, you are a foreigner. No offense. You are a foreigner. I mean,
I ain't going to hide that really with this accent. They either think I'm Australian or Irish, or the best one I ever had, we were racing in Pittsburgh a couple of years ago, and this lady at a gas station thought I was German. So, what? Everybody behind me is like in pieces. All the team that I was working with they're just falling about all over the gas station. And,
German?
German. Yeah. I thought that's the first. That's the first.
She never gets out. If she thought you were German, I mean, German. Wow.
What about this sounds German?
You're more Nigerian than you are. Do you know you're more Nigerian than you are German? I would pick I would pick you for South Nigeria, you know, than before I would pick you for Germany.
It's true. It's true.
So, man, let me tell you something. I think it's wonderful that, you know, your racing knowledge is, I mean, what I love about you, you know the history of everything, and you're so immersed in, it's not just a job for you, it's life. I mean, that's who you are. And I know you always said TT was, you know, in your heart more than anything, but winning Daytona, which you just did last week, it's fresh. I mean, it's fresh in your mind. Classic race. Granted, it's not the 200, but oh, look at you showing the hardware. Yes. Nice. How did it feel winning at the iconic Daytona track, man?
Oh, dude, I still have little bits of bucket list things. And when I first came over to work with Kyle, we did the 200 and everything. I was kind of thrown into that. And one of the things I've always wanted to do is win at Daytona. It's one of them little things I always wanted to do, and to get to win at Daytona was something else. I mean, last year we had a few issues, won a race, fantastic, but this year to do the double for us was just, oh man, it blew my mind. I mean, I get emotional in one way. I'm always scream and shout when we win and all the rest of it, but I actually got emotional this year for various reasons. But to get to win, I'm standing that iconic winners enclosure at Daytona it's phenomenal. And we had so many Harley fans there as well. It was they all went nuts, and it was amazing. Kyle comes rolling in, bouncing the thing off the rev limiter and all the rest of it, and the Harley fans are behind us in the little crowd. CEO of the company, Jochen Zeiss, is in the crowd, and all the heads of the business, and Bill Davis is there, and everybody's losing their mind, and it was just awesome. It was phenomenal. It's one of the best things ever. So yeah.
Well, did you get a bonus, like money wise, since you won?
Yeah. No, but it's for me. It's the winning. It is always about the winning, and I always have a thing I started to use with Kyle is whatever it takes, and it is whatever it takes to get these things. It sounds stupid just for a trophy, but that trophy, what it stands for, and the amount of work that it's a sign of is just unreal. I mean, the 3-day sort of race weekend, I think I turned over 56 hours work in the 3 days. It was huge. It was a huge weekend for us.
The trophy's more just symbolic. I think it's, you just knowing the fact that all the hard work paid off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you had to rank Daytona as far as iconic tracks and winning there, would you put them in the top 10, top 5, top 20?
For me, yeah. I mean, certainly it's a place that I have a weird love-hate relationship with, because we're going with a relatively new championship with bikes that are still learning and, all the rest of it. So I'm kind of always a little bit scared going into Daytona because it can throw up all kinds of stuff, which it did this year for us. But it reminds me of going to a road race is what it reminds me of, because there is that extra level of risk compared to going to a normal circuit. And I do believe it is still in like that top 10 of hugely iconic places to go and race, be it on 2 wheels or 4. And you can't not drive into the place and go, holy shit. Yeah. Because the place is huge. It is huge. And you cannot not have your breath taken away by it, especially when you go and walk around on the banking. It's nuts. And you cannot not be impressed with the place. It's incredible.
If I could, I mean, top of the head right now, I think just by name, I go Monaco, but that's just by name, because let's be honest, that's kind of a shitty race. But I go Monaco. You know what? And I might be being a homer here, but I'm gonna say Silverstone, Indy for the 500, Daytona, and I don't know why, but I want to say Mugello, but that's just going for bikes. I mean, as far as iconic tracks, but I think I say Monza over Mugello. Monza.
Monza, yeah. And I do Imola as well. Imola is phenomenal. I did Imola with World Superbike with Leon, and that's a special, special place when you go
Yeah.
there because it's the old school. And again, it appeals to my love of the history of racing. It's the old school right kind of racetrack that's in the center of a town. Like the last few corners is overlooked by people's houses.
How great is that?
It's where we lost Senna, and that is one of the most incredible places. When you go to Senna's monument, it's a racetrack. Racetracks are violent, noisy, incredible places. And then you go and see Senna's monument on the inside of the track, and he sat there with all these flags and candles burning around him all year long. And it's as peaceful as it gets. I get goosebumps even talking about it. But yeah, it's amazing place, amazing.
And was weird to me is watching that. Like you said, it's in the town, and you can see like apartments or people looking over. Like I would have to get in breakfast, and you can hear a race going on.
It's amazing, and it makes for such incredible images. When there's a real tight left down hairpin that heads back up over the hill, and you're sat there in beautiful like vacuumed fields. And you're looking up the hill, and there's all these people, and there's houses, and you can see rooftops, and you look back down in the hill. At night, where the start-finish straight over the back is virtually a street, and all the hospitality trucks are backed up, feeding all us lot, the mechanics. But it takes on a feel of a street. You can hear the music, you can smell the food cooking, and you're sat in the middle of Bologna, and it's amazing. You cannot go there and not get stirred by it. And especially with some of its history. Some of the best World Superbike races ever were at Imola. If you remember going back to the Colin Edwards and Bayliss.
Oh, that was
mind-blowing.
Yes.
Mind-blowing. And then with everything else it's done in Formula One over the years, I still think the greatest tracks in the world are those that have been around for a long time. There's not many new tracks I go, oh my God, it's incredible. No. It's the ones that have been there for time and have the history and the people that have been there and raced. And they're just, the old stuff is still the best. I
don't know what track it was, but I think it was for the championship. And I just remember, and I think it was in Italy. Man, those people literally were in the trees, literally in the trees, hanging on that was the most incredible. It was in Formula One. And I was just like, that is passion, right? I mean,
yeah.
I wish if you could describe who has the most passion, if you can, of all the fans, if you can go Italians, even your people, like, English or maybe even the Irish or whatever, who do you think is the most passion when it comes to racing?
Everybody takes on a different form of passion. The Italians are all bravado and bright lights and over the top. It's fantastic being there, being able to race in Italy. I've done that a few times now, and it is incredible. It is incredible. But then you have the British, and they're kind of we're passionate about racing in a different way. It's like it's almost aggressive sometimes. We have people like at BSB who we ran 12 rounds a year in BSB. And then on top of that, all the tests. And you'd see the same fans turn up every weekend, no matter where in the country it was. They will be there. And they will be there for 4 days. They are absolutely loyal to watching racing in the UK. But then you have over here, the core of racing isn't as big over here, but the core is they love it. They don't care what they're watching. They just love it. Even if they don't know about it. Where the UK guys are obsessive, and they will not miss a trick. They know exactly where you've been, what you've done, what the results were, what color the bike was that week. Here, the kind of it's spread out so much that they don't necessarily know exactly what you do or anything else, but they just love it. They love it anyway. I think it's so individual. I mean, and then you get the Japanese side of things where people always say like, oh, the Japanese side of it is so sort of straight-faced and all the rest of it, that, and the Italians are so much more passionate. I'm like, no, because we see it from our side when I've worked with Kawasaki and stuff in the past. And the Japanese are so passionate, especially when they're building and developing race bikes. that one part goes wrong, one part fails, they are absolutely devastated and will not stop until that part is fixed, corrected, and back on the track, making it right again. They literally are devastated by it. And that's something, from a passion point of view, I haven't seen with anybody the same. The Japanese are so passionate about what they do. So, yeah, it's all different depending on where you are, what part of the world, and it takes on a very cultural thing.
Now, when you speak of passion, now when you start working for Harley-Davidson, where did you see that passion in Harley-Davidson? Was it in the management? Was it in the plant? Was it in the people working there that showed a sense of pride? Like, where was that passion with Harley-Davidson?
Harley was something so new. The Harley hadn't raced in a long time. They don't obviously do the flat track thing and what have you, and the XR has been around forever. But it was so new. And a small core of people had got together and wanted to do something different along with this baggers idea that would come along. And there's a small group of guys that were working there that were really passionate about doing this and doing something different. And in all honesty, they weren't experienced in racing. They hadn't done any racing. They just wanted to do something new and something different and drive it forward and show Harley in some ways that there was a different way. And that's how it started. And they brought Kyle in because Kyle had contact with them before because he's done training with them and various things with Champ School. So he knew the guys. And they brought him in to help develop, sort of start this thing. And the passion just grew from there. And since then, obviously it's grown to such a degree, it's just unbelievable. It's gone nuts. But now you see the passion in not only this group of guys that started it, a guy that runs it all, a guy called Jason Keel. He was kind of the instigator of it all. It started with him and a small group, and then it started to spread. And now we've got it to the level now where you've not only got the Harley fans turn up at Motor America races and they double the attendance of the race. Laguna has never had an attendance as big as what it's had for having the baggers there, ever. GP, World Superbike, nothing.
Really?
It's insane. But now the passion for what we're doing has now spread. And now it's spreading out into the people at Harley, who at first thought we were all insane. Rightly so in some ways. But now you've got, like I said, at the weekend we had the CEO of the company there to support what we're doing. And we had the Davidson family is one of the greatest group of people I've ever met. They love what we do. They're so passionate about what we do. From Bill, Karen, and Willie G himself, who comes out to Road America to see us. It is astounding. It is astounding the kind of how it's exploded. It's just insane. It's insane.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, if I'm going to let the cat out of the bag, I remember 3 years ago we had this conversation and we were talking about the baggers here. Did you ever see yourself working in it? Because I know you're talking about you're spending all these money on these bikes and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden I go, hey, is that my buddy working for Harley Davidson? I mean, this is me. Yeah. I mean, we were like, at first it was such a novelty. We're like, oh, come on. And now I'm going to be honest. I look at it now and I think it's one of the greatest new kind of inventive things that's been in racing, just period. Because there's that novelty. Okay, let's see what this is about. And now, like you said, it's caught on. And I think people absolutely love it. I mean, and just for a joke, I always want to go, what's in the bag? I mean, what's in the baggers, actually?
Yeah. There was a guy that turned up with a T-shirt or a hat, I think it was. And he walked up to me and went, what's in the bag? And he went, oh, that's because he had it on his hat. I was like... It is. I mean, I kind of came into it. I was working with Kyle building his Ducatis. The last one I built for him was his F21 factory bike. And we'd done so well on a limited budget and all the rest of it. And we were the first Ducati on a podium in any kind of US national championship in a decade. So we'd done well with what we were. And Kyle had been taken in to this bagger world, and at first I was kind of like, what are they doing? And I admittedly stayed kind of in the background just to kind of get what is this going on. And then at the end of 2021, I think it was, I went in as a kind of just to give him some advice. Kyle took me up with him to Milwaukee to have a look at the race bike. and go, okay, where can we go with this from here? Because they were all green. They were all relatively new to the racing side of things. And I think the story goes, I gave them 4 pages of notes without taking the bodywork off. And they were like, okay. And and it kind of went from there. And it kind of blew up. And then they took me on to help develop the program with the crew. And kind of we've gone as a team, just gone from strength to strength. Now we have a bike that is as fast as the top supersport bikes. And the thing weighs 280 kilos. It is insane what this. We cracked 187 on the banking at Daytona last week.
187 on a bagger.
187. It's nuts. It's developed so far, so fast. It's insane. It's like the old saying, isn't it? The first bike race was when they built the second bike. And that's kind of where we're at with this, because the idea was there. It's a bike. Let's race it. Doesn't matter what it is. We'll race it. And it's become that thing with a performance bagger thing that goes on, especially on the West Coast where it started, where these guys on the street were messing around with these things. And that's where it kind of came from. And it's just gone nuts. It's gone nuts.
Well, why do you think there'll come a time we'll see maybe Honda get the Goldwing in the bagger series?
Dude,
man, I would love to see a Goldwing bagger against a Harley Davidson bagger and an Indian bagger. Come on, bro. And
it'd be a lot quieter than our Harley would be.
It'd be like the electric series. It'd be like the e-bike.
Yeah.
I want to see Honda do that, because I had a bet with my butt. This is way back in the day, and I said I think the next thing they're going to, because that was when the stretching the bikes and everything was in, and I go, I think the next thing is they're going to start doing that with Goldwing or something with baggers. He goes, nah, and now I'm thinking that might not be too far off. I think Honda should get a Goldwing bagger to race.
It's not. I mean, we know. I mean, here it's supposed to be an American Twins Championship. That's what it was designed as. But I know in Europe, BMW have already done it. Some of the other manufacturers are already looking at it, because you can't. People have knocked the championship. Oh, well, it's just stupid, these bloody big heavy iron things. Yeah, but these bikes sell 100,000 motorcycles a year. 100 just in the USA. So yeah, it's different. It's not what they're used to seeing, but this is what people are buying. I mean, Yamaha have just dropped the R1 because it doesn't sell.
Yes, that hurt my heart. Yeah.
It hurt all of us, because eventually that's the way they're all going to go. So racing finds a way of continuing. When racing finds a way of keeping doing what it's doing. And the baggers is just one of these things where, things are tailing off. Things are, racing isn't as big as it was in certain areas, and the bikes aren't there anymore. Let's race somewhere else. And that's kind of where it's going. It's sticking with that idea of what is, raced on Sundays, bought on Monday. And that is genuinely still happening with this class of bike, where the sports bike isn't. If you'd have told me 20 years ago, 600s were dead, I'd have laughed at you.
Yeah.
And then if it had said like a little bit later, when the superbikes now were such a small portion of what's sold, I wouldn't have believed it. But we are genuinely heading into that era.
I think it's going to be great for when MotoGP comes to Austin and the bagger series is going to be there. I think it's going to be, and I think the guys, the actual racers, are going to look in when they get a chance, because I think it's going to be unbelievable. Because to me, I'm a GP guy. That's just in my heart. But to watch the baggers there, and you're going to be there also, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll probably get a 2-up with Kyle. See if I can get a 2-up with Kyle. So then So I think it's going to be. I think the crowds are going to be great, and just to watch a bagger do the same thing that the GP bikes do on the same track, I think it's going to be phenomenal.
It's going to be special. I mean, we tested there last year, and then we raced there when it was like 115 degrees. It was insane at the end of last year when we raced there. But yeah, we're going to be on the same track, with those guys, and they're going to get to come. I mean, for me, it's a great thing, because 4 years I've been here now, and I have not seen a lot of my friends in the paddock. So, and they're all interested. This is the mechanics, the guys at IRTA. I have so many friends around the GP paddock, and I can't wait for them to see this fire-breathing lunacy on track, because it's going to be fantastic.
Dude, it's going to be phenomenal. I can't wait. And what is the biggest surprise for you, being a mechanic and with this bagger series, whether it's the speed they got or the chopping here and there to make it, as close to a bagger that you see on the street, but yet and still it's actually an actual racer. What was the biggest surprise for you?
I mean, the biggest surprise is how fast we've gone in such a short space of time. It's ridiculous, really. I mean, you think year on year now, you see sort of a half a second increment in a GP is a huge amount over 12 months. We're doing seconds and seconds and seconds at a time. I mean, between that first year that we did, that Harley did the baggers, and the first year I came on board, we went 5 seconds a lap faster. And then every year there's been a jump. Big jump. But I mean, don't get me wrong, that's going to slow down. But that rate of pace has just been incredible. I mean, and also the other thing that surprises me is just what we are able to do with standard parts. The frame, the big iron part of that bike, the frame is completely standard. It's the same as the one as you see on the guy driving down the street. The frame is completely stock. And it's amazing. It's amazing what we do with it. It's like even down to the way the engine, going a bit more technical, but the way a Harley's built is you've got an engine and the swing arm are kind of together as one piece that's rubber mounted in the frame. And then you've got the frame and the forks are then rubber mounted back to the engine. So the two things almost work independently. And that, the first time I saw that when I was pulling a bike apart, I was like, what the hell am I getting into? What is this thing here? And it's the way they built them for 100 years. And I just couldn't believe this thing was ever going to work. And then you see Kyle, who is riding this thing better than I've ever. He's progressed so far because he's been allowed to. He's progressed so far on how well he can ride this thing. And the things I see him do on this thing, for me, as long as I've been racing, it still blows my mind. What I witnessed, what he's capable to do on this thing. It's nuts.
To see somebody 12 o'clock, a bagger. I mean, dude, that to me, when I see them do that and see that wheel shake when they get the wheelie, it's phenomenal. I love it, man. And I'm not a really big bagger person before. I mean, I respect him, don't get me wrong, but were you ever like that kind of guy? I mean, did you see yourself in the future? Like in the future, like when I get old, maybe I'll get a bag. Because I remember asking Rossi this question. It was during GP in Indianapolis, and they go, "Can you see him just riding a bag?" He goes, "Maybe when I get old." And I remember saying that, and I think some people got the wrong way. But he goes, "I'm not old yet," because he when he was 50, and now that you get 50, you go, "That's not really that old." But they said, "Can you see yourself riding a bag?" You go, "Maybe when I get old." And now it's almost defied the stereotype of being old. I mean, now they're making it look cool. Riding the bagger looks cool now.
Yeah, I think some of it is the mentality is so different, and the kind of, it sounds stupid, but the road networks and how things are here is so different to where I grew up, which is tiny country lanes where sports bikes ruled. Now over here, the kind of road networks that you have, the big expanses, and I understand now, living here, why Harley has almost developed in a parallel universe to the sports bike industry. They've developed and sort of changed independently of what bikes have done in mainland Europe. And it's purely down to geographics. If you look at America and the roads, and it's like, you want to do 1,000 miles today straight across Texas, you ain't going to do it on a 916. You're going to do it on a Harley, So they've kind of evolved these two different groups of motorcycles. And now, I've got older, and I totally get the Harley thing. I see why people want them, and I would love to have one. I actually I'm not really the big fairing bagger type of guy. I prefer the fat bob, if the muscle bike. Yeah. That's my halfway house between what I kind of normally like and the Harley thing is the fat bob, which I love. I think the fat bob's awesome. But now I see it, and I see how that the way the bikes have evolved over 100 years, I see why. And it's purely geographical. That's all it is. It's kind of interesting, really.
Now, are you gonna get a discount? Will they give you a discount to get a bike?
They might do. I can ask.
Well, they should. I mean, you're the man. You bought them a championship. I mean, you this year, and then Daytona, you pulled the double. Can't they give you like a little money off, or let you ride one for the season? You know,
They might do. Give me a discount. I might be able to do it.
I think they should, man. I think they should. What?
I've got the old girl that's sat here. I've got the 86 750 Suzuki sat here. That's what I've been riding.
Oh, the
Gixxer? 1970 CT70.
Oh, you know what? That's the one I want to ride with you on. You did that one, and you got the MV Augusta also, right?
Yeah. This is a project we're doing, me and my friend Jeff, Church of Choppers, Jeff Wright. We're doing this a little bit of a project with MV USA. And she's been quite a thing, really. I've ended up bringing in a load of parts and people together that I know from Europe that supplied parts when they were racing them in Europe. She's a rare beast behind me. She started life as an F4 1000 RR, and I've basically turned her into a race bike. And now Jeff's going to do a bodywork kind of change on her. She's going to be really special when she's done. She's going to be very, very unique.
I always say the only bike that's more beautiful than a Ducati is MV Augusta. They're the only ones that can give them a run for the money with just by the sheer passion and the look of the bike. The MV Augustas are so beautiful.
They are stunning as a general concept and everything else. They are stunning. Don't get me wrong. She's as temperamental as an Italian lady as well, but they are stunning. They are stunning. I mean, the amount of people who have helped me out with this is unreal. All folks in Europe that have helped me. I mean, even down the tank. The tank is a handmade copy in aluminium that was made by my guy that used to do all my tank fabrication in England. So I sent him the original plastic tank that it came with, and he handmade it just from looking at the tank. And so that's a beautiful piece of engineering we've got going on here. Fiber with a radiator that they made them for the Superbike when they were around. They don't make them anymore, and they made one for me. Wow. Samco hoses, Akasato for the brake lines. I've had guys over here, Nate at Motivation. He supplies Rizoma for the brake lever guards. There's so many parts on here that have all come in from the people I know in racing. Even Racebolt. Racebolt have done me all the bolts, GB Racing for the engine casing covers. We've really gone to town on it and turned it into a race bike.
What makes you so damn good as a race mechanic? I mean, seriously, what makes you, because everywhere you've gone, you've got the golden touch. I mean, you did that with Leon, you did that at the TT. Like everywhere you go, you just have that something. It's not like I'm kissing up to you. It's just the truth. It's like I happen to know you and seeing you work your magic everywhere you've gone. I mean, not everybody. I mean, we had the practice session with Hector. I mean, I love Hector. Don't get me wrong, Hector. But whatever. But still, what makes you so good and stand out that you bring championships?
I think it's the people I've worked with, and I always say to people when they're trying to organize a race team, and I said the same to Harley. I said, it's not about what you do, it's about the people you surround yourself with. If you surround yourself with people that are better at their job than you are, you're going to succeed. And I had that at Kawasaki. I had some of the best people around me that would build things that I wanted, like Ben, who made the tank, Ben Sargent, who made the tank. Andrea, who was our data technician, all these people. If you get all these people working together, you're going to succeed eventually. And it's the same with Harley. We have great riders. We have guys in management now that are pushing what we do. We've got great mechanics now. And as a whole, I mean, Daytona was tough for us. We push the envelope all the time, and sometimes we push it a little too far, and we have to take a back step. But that back step sometimes takes work. Entire team pulls together, all the group of guys that I work with, and we come home with 2 trophies. It's not just about the one person. It's always about the people that you have around you, because none of this happens on your own. None of it.
I mean, that's true. I mean, you're right with that. But I mean, there's that luck. Okay, I got lucky and worked with this guy and got a championship. But it seems like everywhere you've gone, you've always gotten to like or surround yourself with good people, and there's some mechanics who are like, wow, I wish I was like Dave. What does he have that I don't have? I mean, seriously, I mean, there's people that work all the time, they don't get a championship, and they're around people, but you, I mean, it's more than luck. It's got to be you, bro. I mean, what do you do different besides surrounding yourself with people? I know you're very modest, but there's got to be something you're doing different, or what do you think you do better than a lot of other mechanics, chief mechanics?
I think I think it's the commitment to the rider. It's the commitment to the rider that I never want. I mean, Kyle, I don't want to let him down. That is the number one thing in everything I do. I do not want to let him down. And I'll work myself into the floor to make sure that I don't let him down. You know, I think it's just wanting to work, the willingness to work so hard to make sure that that guy on that bike gets to be all he can be. I had a conversation with a guy years ago. He's a famous Irish road racing photographer. And I said to him, I'm never going to be anything. I ain't fast on a bike. I've never had money. I don't have all this kind of thing. So, but if I can help somebody be all they can be, then maybe I'm worth something. So that's the kind of way I approach it, is that it's not about me. It's about making sure that rider gets absolutely everything he needs to achieve to become what they can be. And with Kyle, I try to give him everything I can to help him win, everything I can to help him be number one. I think we're on 12 wins now in the baggers across the championships since I've got here. And it's that's what it's about for me, is just working so hard to make sure you never fail them. I think that's the difference between me and maybe some people. It's not about me. It's about working hard for the guy who you're mechanicking for. And yeah, I think that's it's the driving force. The driving force is always the thing. And for me, that's my driving force, is to give them whatever I can to make them win, no matter what it does to me.
When you lose the championships, do you feel like the rider? Like last year, I think you guys got third last year, I think, in the series? It was a close series.
Yeah, last 2 years we've missed out for ridiculous reasons, and it hurts, especially when it happens at the end of the year, because we both, historically, last couple of years we've had struggles at Daytona, spent all year Kyle trying to catch up, and then at the end of the year we've just missed out, and it's happened 2 years running. Now this year we've gone at it and we've walked out of there with maximum points for us. But you get to the end of the season and you know how much effort you've put in, everybody around you's put in, and it doesn't happen. It's soul destroying. But you've then got to pick yourself up and go, right, I'm ready to go again. And that, you can't have that in your mind too long. We had it with Leon 2017 into 18. You've got to use that loss as a driving force for next year. I had Leon's, in fact, I've still got it, his third place trophy from 2017 when we had the accident and he broke his leg. That lived next to my toolbox in the workshop all year, because I said, I ain't having another one of them. I want the number one next time.
Yeah.
And it's using that as a driving force for the following year. And that's exactly what we've done with the bagger stuff, is that, yeah, we've had disappointments come the end of the year. It's a lot of it out of our control. So I use that as a driving force going into next year to work harder, to make sure that that doesn't happen again, that this doesn't happen again, that you do that much more to try and make sure that that following year you have a next chance to try and take the championship.
Is it like when in football or all sports almost, they have like the training camp series where baseball they have go down to Florida and get ready for the season, and in football they have the 2-a-days, whatever. How do motorcycles? I know you guys. I think at one time you went to Arizona. I think when he was still on the Super, I think, and then now, like, how do you guys prepare for the season racing wise? Do you do you go down to Florida? I mean, you're in the United States now, so do you Florida or do you stay in a plant and decide the season? How do y'all get ready?
Well, it's kind of brought the superbike mentality to it, because in superbike you finish the season. I mean, in the UK we used to finish the season in October. By November, we were testing. It's exactly the same as we are now. It took a little bit of getting them going, because Harley weren't used to that. They didn't understand how important that was to go from the end of the season into testing, make decisions for the following year on the back of that testing, get everything ready for the next year, go testing again to really finalize what you're doing, and then go racing. And now that's exactly what we do. We finished season last year, September time. By November, December, we're testing again. All the new stuff for the following year so that you can make a decision. We're going to make that. We're going to buy these. We're going to do this for the next year. Get it all ordered, get through Christmas, and then you get to the beginning of the year where I went in and I started work like January 7th, January 8th. I go up to Milwaukee. We start building all the new bikes with all the new stuff, and then we're testing that by February, end of February. Because by March, we're racing.
So how do you test it though? I mean, do you take it down to Florida?
Take it down to we what we do is we pack the truck up. We go right. Everything goes. The bike, the parts we want to test, the things we want to change while we're there. The whole crew gets together. We make a plan, and we head. This year we've done Arizona twice. Head down to Arizona. We kind of follow the weather. Sometimes a little bit wrong. We've had a couple where it's not quite gone to plan. We were chasing tumbleweed one year in Arizona. It was really bad. But yeah, we go down to Arizona usually, various tracks, and start the process. We go out, we do the mileage, we test the parts. We live things out and see how they're going to go. Make big changes that we never get the opportunity to make during the season. It's kind of like they do in World Superbike, MotoGP, everything else. You take the big change items that you wouldn't dare put into a race situation because it's not a known quantity, and you do that over the winter. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, throw it away, start again. And that's how it is. But not only does it benefit us, but now it benefits the rest of the paddock because we've been able to put in into place an operation where you can now order the parts from us, like the kit systems with Ducati and KRT and Honda with HRC. You can order the parts if you're racing these bikes from us, and we can give them to you. So it is in just the same way. And a lot of that development comes from that time over the winter where we go, yeah, these parts are great. We can sell them on to people. And it gets more bikes on the grid, more people racing.
Oh, I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to see you in April, bro. I think it's going to be spectacular to watch. And I think all eyes are going to be on you. And the great thing about it is you're not going to be with anybody else from Moto America. It's going to be GP and it's going to be you guys.
Yeah.
And I really think it's going to be all eyes on you. I mean, I think MotoGP is the best they've ever been this year. And I think with you guys there, it's just going to be a great weekend to watch, I think. It's
going to be interesting to see the guys when they come over because I know a lot of the GP paddock is really interested in what we're doing because it's just lunacy. It's that completely different thing that you can't help but look at. Yeah. You know, when something really bad happens when you're on a subway or something stupid, or there's some crazy person doing what they're doing, you can't help but look at them. You go, you know, you don't want to look at them, but you've got to look at them because they're nuts. So you've got to look at them.
When they're peeing in the corner,
feeling we get.
And how much shit did you get from your buddies when you first told them you were going to be in the Bagger Series? How much shit did they give you?
I got a lot of grief, especially from the guys in Europe. Here it wasn't so bad, but in Europe, yeah. At first, everybody was like, what the name of sanity are you doing? Like, it's you need to have your head read. Well, what is going on? Yeah. And yeah, I got a lot of grief, and I still do. Now, all of a sudden, gone the other way. Now they're like, oh my God, you're involved with the baggers, or are you still doing the bagger thing? Or, you know, are you doing that now? And it's completely changed. I went over and we did a show in the UK at the end of 2022, the big show over there, Motorcycle Live. And we went on the Harley stand and we shipped the bike over. And I was kind of like, this is going to go one or two ways. I'm either going to stand there and get pointed and laughed at for like a week, or this is going to be really cool. It's like, there's the demented guy. He's the one that runs. Yeah, him over there. That's what I was kind of waiting for. But I ended up getting there, and the reception was quite amazing. The race guys that I've known for decades, they were the guys that I kind of expected the weird kind of, oh my, what are you doing with your life thing. And no, they were the other end of the scale. They were blown away by this thing. And even the people that would come up, and these are my favorite target. They'd come up and go, what's this thing? What's all the bag? Why has it got bags on it? They were my favorite target because I was like, I'm having you. And they go away going, oh my God, this thing's insane. And that transfer in their opinion was fantastic to see, because the minute you explain to people just what we're doing and you give them the facts and figures, they cannot not be impressed by the thing. Yes, it still looks like a bagger, but that's part of it. But what it's capable of is insane. We're within a couple of seconds of superbikes now. We are within the top 3 at Supersport. Our top speed at Supersport was faster than anything at Daytona. It's insane. So you can't help but look at it. If you have a genuine interest in racing and bikes, you can't help but look at it and go,
I want to see. I think they should, like, for one race, ship you guys over to maybe Donington for a race in either BSB, even World, BSB, not World Superbike, but BSB, just for one round and just blow your heads off, man. I think that would go big time.
I would absolutely love to get in a British paddock on a British track with this thing that we've created. For me to go home and do that is a bit of a dream.
Even better, have it at the TT. Have a bagger division at the TT. Are you serious? Bro, that would be so mind-boggling. I mean, honestly, then you can have all these manufacturers thinking, okay, the first year, people are going to like kind of laugh at it maybe, and then they'll see how cool it is. And then that's when you see Honda with the Gold Wing bagger racer. You'll see Moto Guzzi break out their MG21. To me, that was the greatest bagger ever as far as beautiful. I thought that was the most beautiful bagger ever. They quit making it. It hurts my heart. And then have Indians ship all their baggers over, and you see multiple different baggers out of different manufacturers. I think when I wish the TT would just do 1 year for bagger series at the TT. Man, how great would that be?
It would. I would love, and I have talked about it. I talk about a lot of things and getting over to Europe with these things, because I truly believe if the Europeans actually saw what we're doing, they would be blown away as well. And the TT is one thing I talk about, maybe not for a race, because these things really are not designed to hit the bottom of Bray Hill. They hit the bottom of the Bray Hill and there'll be a crater the size of a small country at the bottom of the Bray Hill. They're so heavy. They're just not something that could really take the Isle of Man. But I'd love to take one there just as a bit of a show and a bit of a, just to show people these things. Because you never see a bigger, sort of microcosm of biking fans at the Isle of Man. And to be able to take something like this and change people's opinions of these things would be absolutely huge.
You can still see me, right?
Yeah.
But
the Donington thing is a great idea. I've already ran through my head all the tracks I definitely can't take one to. And because I kept thinking, where did we go? I took you to Alton, didn't we?
Yes.
I took you to Alton with Hector. And that's like, I can't really take a bagger to Alton. I can't do Brands Hatch because bottom of Paddock Hill would be a little bit too much for a 280 kilo bike. But then you go, okay, Donington. Yes, Donington would be. Or imagine down crane. You've been down Craner Curves yourself.
Yeah, I've done. You were there when I was there.
Yep.
You were there. I still didn't get a knee down, and it still haunts me to this day. I mean, I look at it now. I've got maybe 2 or 3 years in me to get a knee down at a track day, and it's haunting me now. Now it's become an obsession. I mean, I think I did really good at Pittsburgh, and I thought I got a knee down, but it was actually my ankle. Don't say nothing. But I think it was my ankle. Yeah, I don't say nothing. But I think it was my ankle. But I got to get a knee down, and bro, it's now it's in my head, and I got to get it back.
And Pittsburgh's a great track to go and do it at as well. It's a good track.
Dude, I had a great time at Pittsburgh. So I think Pittsburgh's great, but I think I want to go back to Barber. I loved Barber.
Barber's beautiful. It's one of the most stunning tracks I've ever been to. It's so well looked after. The museum you can lose me for days.
Second to none. Yeah.
It is a stunning place.
I mean,
Stunning.
I don't want to sound sexist, but you know, like when you go on vacation and your girlfriend wants to, or wife wants to take you to a museum, you go, I don't want to see this shit. I don't care who built this place. But that's the only. I think that's a man's museum, and I hate to say. I hope I don't. And I hope there's probably some women watching this going, really, BT? But I mean, I think that's a. I mean, a motorcycle museum. That's a man's museum.
It is. I mean, everything. I always say to folk, everything you've ever kind of wanted as a bike or a car or whatever, there's one in there.
Yes.
And it's great to go and see it. I mean, Harley has the museum in Milwaukee, which is when I'm up there working. I mean, my commute's 1,000 miles. I work 1,000 miles from where I live. But when I get up there and I have a little bit of downtime, which is very rare, the first place I go is the museum because it's like my switch off. Yeah. I get to just escape the world and the madness for a minute, and I go up to the museum. And Harley's museum up there is stunning. It is incredible. I'm lucky enough to have our 2022 bike, Big Blue. She's been inducted into the archives. That happened at the end of last year, which for me was like, whoa, yeah, she's going to be there long after I've gone. It was one of them. So yeah, she's in the archives there now. But yeah, Harley's museum in Milwaukee is an incredible place. You've got Serial 1 in there, sitting there. One of the earliest Harley in existence in a glass box. She's beautiful. And then it takes you all through all the years and how everything changed right through the wars, all the board track racing that they did. There's bikes there. The collection is incredible. That's worth anybody going to see.
Do you think you're a Hall of Famer? If you win a championship this year in the Bagger Series, do you think you're a Hall of Famer for Harley? I mean, like you'll go down as, I mean, and be immortalized for Harley. I mean, and that's my face. I
ain't going in there. Who the hell's that?
I mean, we joke about it, but it's true. If you win that championship for Harley, you think you'll be a Hall of Famer?
I don't know. It's nice to have the bike in there, so kind of that's good enough for me. I'd love if we do win a championship this year. I'd touch wood. I don't like to jinx anything like that. We're a long way away. We've got like 16 races this year. It's huge. Yeah. We do more races than Stock 1000 this year.
That's great.
But if we ever do get another title, I would love to see that bike in there as well, alongside Big Blue, who was the big step forward for the championship and for what we were doing. Big Blue was a big leap forward. To see the next one in there, have the actual championship one in there as well would be that'd be phenomenal. I think we're always forgotten. The mechanics and everything are always forgotten. And it's great, the riders will get in there and everything. But as a mechanic, to be able to have your bike in there would be, I've already got one. If I can have a championship winner in there, that would be something else. I'd love to be able to do that.
Well, I think now there's almost synonymous now, because you think Rossi, you think Jeremy Burgess, you think Marquez, you think Santee, I mean, with except for Pecco, I don't know who his head mechanic is. Other than that, for the most part, for the racers and the championship, now the mechanic is getting their due, So yeah. Like now, you've almost been successful in everything. BSB, now the King of the Bagger Series. I mean, I'm gonna say it. I'm not gonna jinx you, but I just think because of what happened last year, I just think you guys had that bit between your teeth, and it's just one of those things where you can't stop your momentum because of what happened, and I just think you're going to be on a roll to do it. But what's next for you now to conquer? If you win this championship this year, what's next for that you want to conquer? I mean, you're still a young man. I know you look older, but you're still a young man.
Great.
How old are you now?
I'm 45 now.
You don't look a day over 43. I mean, you look
Thanks,
good.
man.
You really do. You look good. You still got that youthfulness, I mean,
oh my God. I think since I've moved here with everything that's happened, I'm like, I feel like I've aged 20 years. I've got fatter, older, grayer. It's really starting to eat on me, but yeah.
But you look like a mechanic's version of Leonardo DiCaprio. That's what you look like.
Oh my God. That's because I sleep in an oxygen tent at night. That's what it is.
You're the motorcycle version of Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah. I'll tell you what it is. It's the race gas. It's pickling me. That's what it is. That's why I'm not aging.
Well, there you go. Instead of plastic surgery, you market that, and
Race gas.
that's it. Race gas. There's your moneymaker right there. You tell the ladies you can look younger if you put race gas on, and they'll be like, "Really? Yeah, look at me. I'm 63 years old." They go, "Oh my god!" You know, women buy anything. "Oh my god, dude." There you go. There's your ticket.
Yeah.
I just want 5% because I'm the creator. That's all I want. That's all I want. So what is next for you, man? What is that like? Do you want to go like hopefully get a shot maybe at WSBK? Do you maybe, make some phone calls and try to get in with GP? I mean, you never know. So what is next for you?
I don't know. And that's kind of exciting at 45 that I don't know. I have little plans going on all the time, little things I'd like to do and like to have of mine, like little business ideas all the time and things like that. But I don't know, wherever it takes me. I mean, I never planned for any of this, for not a single thing. And it's kind of just taken me wherever it's taken me over the last couple of decades.
Well, welcome to my life. Welcome to my life. That's how I live my life.
That's the way.
I mean, for the last 30 years, I don't, matter of fact, I don't know what I'm doing today. I mean, all I know, I was doing this and that's, but I mean, that's how, in a way, it's a good way to live, but there's always some things I still want to check off on the list though,
Yeah. And I'm kind of there with you. I mean, the job I do takes me away from home a lot, more than ever these last few years. When I always said when we came over here, I was going to try and wind it back a little bit, roll off, throttle a little touch. And I've gone the other way. I've gone even further. I'm like 81 flights in last year,
Wow.
traveling. And there are days that I kind of want to go, right, I want to calm down a little bit and just not quite do as much. But then the racing thing always creeps back into your head all the time. And I'm not ready to stop racing in any way, shape or form, no matter what happens in the next few years. I'm not ready to stop racing. But, certainly maybe do a little bit more for me, like, and the family, say family, me, Carla, and the dog, a little bit more for us, that kind of thing. But yeah, I really don't know. Wherever this takes me, the whole Hartley thing has got a long way to go, and wherever it takes me, I'm quite happy to go. And I quite like that at 45, that you can kind of still live at least that side of your life that way. I think it was Baz Luhrmann that said that when he said that, the most interesting 40-year-olds still don't know. And I think me certainly, and you yourself, we kind of live a little bit that way, where it keeps life interesting, not knowing 100% that go and do a 9 to 5 and do whatever. And
never.
That's not the life I ever wanted.
Yeah, never.
So yeah, I don't know. That's the truth. I don't know. Win something else. Take it. We've got so much we can do with these baggers that we haven't even touched the surface yet.
Okay, what's the newest thing coming? I'm gonna say, how about a scooter series, like with the Vespas and a Metropolitan and those Honda Zoom? I mean, you think that could be a viable thing, like a scooter series?
Anything as long as it's not electric. That's my thing. Not electric. I mean, the only time we did anything good with electric was when Michael Sis developed those bikes and we did the TT with them. That was a different mentality. That was, let's see if we can do it.
Yeah.
Now it's like, it's garbage. I don't want to hear. You can't hear them anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't want to hear the electric thing. This is how it's going. The combustion engine is still around. You will never get me interested in something that doesn't drive your heart or make your hair stand up on your arms, or, I mean, you listen to, stand on the pit lane at a GP, and you hear them bikes come by.
Stop it.
And you tell me we're going to do away with that noise and we're going to be, no.
That noise, it's not even noise. That's that music you hear when the GP bikes start up. And the greatest thing about that is, God, if you've been there, then you know what I'm talking about, is there's always that quiet about, just 10 seconds beforehand. It's a beautiful quiet. And then all of a sudden, when those mechanics roll that bike out and you hear that fire, honestly, that never gets old. It's like macaroni and cheese, And the bike's rolling out for GP, and when the bikes start up, you never had to grow macaroni and cheese. If I could eat macaroni and cheese while they're rolling out the bikes in MotoGP, that would be the ultimate life.
We have a place called Grandpa Mac around the corner from us here, and he does specialist mac and cheese, and it's phenomenal. It is. If I'm not careful, I could be 500 pounds if I'm not careful because it's around the corner.
I'm coming there then. I'm getting Big Red.
Dude.
I'm getting Big Red. I'm coming out. Me, you, Carla, and Cash. We're going there.
Yep. Well, the thing is that noise. We had it last week at Daytona. You hear them things come round the banking, and it sounds like NASCAR. It's that same big thumping, big air in, big air out drone that you get. It's incredible. GP, World Superbike. Everybody's got a favorite. TT is a very special one because you're sat in a hedgerow and there's nothing but the birds tweeting away. There's nothing because these things are coming at you so fast. They are at you before you hear them coming sometimes, depending on where you are and depending on what buildings you're around. And all of a sudden, Cronky Body is a famous one at the TT. You can be on the Cronky Body straight. You can't really hear anything because they're down in Glen Helen. And they come out onto Cronky Body Straight, and it goes from this piece of nothing in the fields with the lambs behind you and the birds and all the rest of it, then this utter violence and noise that bursts out onto the straight. And you cannot replace that with anything. You can't replace that with anything in the world.
Yeah.
And I hope it continues forever.
It's almost worth the global warming. It really is.
Damn right it is.
I think the racing should get like the asterisk. Everybody else, like the cars on the street, everybody else has to fall in line, and we got to save this planet, unless it's a Saturday or a Sunday, and then and the racers get
they're going towards this synthetic fuel now, aren't they? They all have to run a big percentage of synthetic fuel as of, I think it's 2025 or whatever it is. Yeah. So it's the way it's going to go. It's still going to stay around. They will find a way. And I always say tracks have got an offset anyway, the circuits. They're surrounded by grass and fields and they offset everything anyway, so it's fine. Just keep doing it.
I'm with you, Dave. I'm with you. We got to have the sound and we got to have the smell. The smell and the sound of racing. The only better smell, I'm going to say better, but the only smell that may be comparable in the morning is the smell of coffee and breakfast. Yeah. Like at a nice greasy spoon that when you walk in and you smell that fresh brewed coffee and you can't wait to get those hash browns and you can smell those pancakes. Oh my God, that's a great smell.
Yeah. So all the same, anything that stirs your heart.
Yes.
That's what it's all about.
You still got the passion. So to date, right now, what would be your greatest accomplishment to date of all the championships or whatever? Starting from now, from today on, top of your head. I don't want you thinking because you're not a good thinker. So I just want you to go.
My greatest accomplishment today. I don't even know. I don't even know where to start. I have things at the TT that we did, which were amazing. I have the Northwest 200 win was a huge one because that signed off something that was very dear to me. And I lost a friend there in 2012 and I always wanted to beat the track. And in 2019 with Glen Irwin, we beat the track. And that was always a special one for me. The championship with Leon was just something else. That was one of the hardest years' work of my life. But we produced one of the most special bikes in BSP history, 100% finish record, 21 podiums, 15 wins. And then coming here, now doing the baggers thing and winning at Daytona with the baggers, which is a completely new project, is just I don't know. There's no one thing anymore at the minute. There really isn't. I just want to keep going and keep achieving new things with people, I don't know. There's not any one thing.
I love. Well, you're still a young man there, young man. And I mean, honestly, you're going on a great path. I know you got to get to a chiropractor. I know you, and thank you so much for squeezing me in today. I wanted to get one in, and I was like, oh, my man, Dave. And I mean it, because I was so happy for you winning that winning the Daytona, and you squeezed me in, and then you say, yeah, but I got to be at a chiropractor. I said, yeah, we'll get you out. So, man, I appreciate
it's lifting these engines, man. It's about putting yourself on the line for your rider. Kyle, I love to pieces. He's like a brother. He really is. But sometimes when I'm lifting those engines, yeah, that's when I kind of sometimes think, oh my God. Yeah.
Hey, bend your knees, or get younger workers.
Trust me.
Yeah, get younger workers and just hire somebody else to lift the engines.
That's what I need to do.
Do that. Yeah, get a nice CrossFitter, to come work for you and do engines. They like to lift shit anyway, so yeah, do that. Get a young CrossFitter. Dave Hopkinson, it has always been a pleasure. I know we're gonna talk again, probably when you win another damn championship. Or
after COTA, when you've seen the bike.
At the what now? At the where?
After COTA, when we've been to COTA, we've been to Austin, and you've seen the bike, then we'll talk again.
Listen, I will lift the engine out of your whatever you need help in COTA. I can't wait to go in your paddock, your tent. And I'm going to sit on that bike, and I'm going to get a picture of that, and I'm just going to fantasize. And you probably have to call security to get me off, even though I know you like that.
Because hide in a bag.
Oh, do that. Yeah, put me in the bag. That's what I want. That's what I want to do, man. God damn it, I can't wait. It's motorcycle season now. I have a sense of purpose now in life. So, Dave, thank you again, brother, for coming on. I mean it from the bottom of my heart, bro. Sorry about Saquon Barkley, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, man. I hope you guys do well in the NFC East this year, brother. Give my love to your wonderful wife. Good luck in the season. I think you're gonna win it. I really do. I think like I said, I think you guys just got that incentive. So yeah, good luck in that. You guys, that's Dave Hopkinson. Follow him on Downshift Racing on Instagram. He did the double, the chief mechanic. He did the double in Daytona this year. Probably gonna win the championship. Check him out at COTA. Thank you guys for watching on BT. That's Dave Hopkinson. And like I said about this time, you know the word. Peace.